I am pulling a piece from one of the news clips that I read yesterday or the day before, and it um, has to do with the able-bodied people promoting and fighting for the disabled. And the reason why this kind of popped into my head was the phrase was really tricky, and it asked a question: what does the able-bodied person gain from promoting our needs? So if you kind of think about that for a second, who is in the bottom line question I think here is, who is promoting our needs and what do they gain? Who is it and what do they gain? And I think that it's curious when you start to put those questions in the front. If it's a politician or if it is somebody in Congress or somebody in your district, what do they gain by, attempting to build something for the disabled? And I think this is where we need to start to really be cautious. Um, I think that most of them have like a goodwill intention. But is there something that they are seeking, to promote themselves, to get ahead on something, or, what is it exactly? And I started to think about this, and it's like, oh, this could be really nasty, because then it's us not being present. It's just this able-bodied person who's in the front now yelling, oh yeah, we need more parking spots for the disabled. Yeah, we need more apartments for the disabled. And we're nowhere to be found. And how does that impact us? And what are they seeking? The able-bodied person who's promoting our needs, what do they gain? And that could be a little tricky. They seeking a position? Are they seeking to put themselves out there in front of the line to give a prize of some kind? And what is the impact for us to not be there? And that becomes a complication. I think that for us, it's really important for us to be there, for us to, not as a showcase, but as words, as the person who's promoting, and I want to say this, I'm going to give you an example. You remember that I talked about some time ago, I talked about Houston. I was talking about transportation and the disadvantages in Houston that a lot of disabled people are using ambulances to get to their appointments because there was no transportation that they could afford to get to their appointments or to get to family events, or there just wasn't any that they could afford. So this person who, and this is different, this person who had a serious accident, broke his legs and broke, I don't know what else he broke, but he was in a wheelchair for a long time. And he ran into the same problem. He couldn't get to his appointments, and was looking all over the place, to be able to get into a car of some kind to get to his appointments. And when he tried to just get in a regular car, of course, he discovered it was very painful. So it was just this mess. And he just happened to run into some friends that had a van that was accessible, and he was able to go to his appointments. But that doesn't happen to everybody. So he realized, he went to, I guess, the city and said, hey, we need more transportation for the people who have disabilities so they can get to their appointments and not use ambulances, which we need in a crisis. So what's going to happen here? How do we do this? And then another person heard about his advocating for the disabled. However, he was disabled just in a temporary way. And he became concerned about other people who are disabled, lifelong disabilities. So these two people connected, the guy with a van and the guy with a temporary disability, and they started talking about that need in Houston. And so they started talking to the city and how would they do this and where would they get funding, blah, blah, blah. So the guy with the van said, well, this van has been in the garage for so long because of COVID. We had to put it away. And it's a good van. It's just that it's an older model, blah, blah, blah. So, so that scenario is okay. That scenario is okay because it's a person with a disability who's experiencing that obstacle and is on the ground, on the battleground, trying to figure out, even though he will recover from his disability, it'll take a while, but he'll recover. But he thinks about those who will not. Will always be in a wheelchair, will always be, having and living with that disability. So that's a little different. He's upfront saying, hey, we need this in our city. So that's a little different than a politician or someone who's an advocate, who's an able-bodied person, who's an advocate, and is going around talking about the needs for the disabled in the city or the county. So we really have to think about this and make sure that the people who are advocating for us don't do it for us, but do it with us. And I think I've said this before, to do it with us and not just kick us to the curb because we have a disability so that we can't talk and they're going to do all the work. Because that to me is a little suspicious. To have us working with them and to walk together and not just have an able-bodied person grab some microphone and start saying, yes, Mayor, we need this and we need that, and if we did this, and where are the disabled? we really need to speak, and that is crucial, that we don't hide in the corner, or that person without any disabilities just kicks us to the curb and says, I'll do it for you. How comfortable that would be. How comfortable that would be, and what signal does it send? A lot of times we're not heard from and we're not seen. And that's a problem. Because there are a lot of people with disabilities in your county, in your province, in your country, in your region. There are a lot of people with disabilities, and we don't want to kick them to the curb. We want people to see us. Maybe we can't speak, but we need to be out there so that people learn from us, not from the people who are not disabled. And I'm not saying that I reject all people who are not disabled. No, I don't reject them. I'm just asking them if they're going to advocate for something for us, that they do it with us. You see how that makes a difference? I was just thinking about that the other day. It's like, in this article, it just said, what do people who don't have disabilities or advocating for people with disabilities gain from that advocacy or writing these articles? It's like, no. My comment to anybody who is able-bodied, who's going to promote or, fight for the disabled, that they don't do it alone by themselves. Like, hurrah, here I go. I'm going to fight for the disabled. No. If you want to do that, you have to do it with us. Don't kick me to the curb. It might be hard for me to get to that community meeting. It might be really hard for me to get to that meeting with the mayor, but I'll get there. I'll get there somehow, and and it's just like in our county, we were fighting for Save the Bus. We had a project of Save the Bus, and I need to follow up on that. But I did something there. Oh, I sent them a couple of emails on, correcting things, and I need to send them another email about the straps in the newer buses that are getting stuck, so they can't strap my wheelchair down, only on 2 tie downs and not on 3. And so I've explained to the driver, I said, if you only strap me down with 2, my front wheels are not locked. And anytime you do a heavy turn, my wheelchair is just going to spin. So I have to let them know that please check those straps so they can unstrap them because they're stuck. So it's not exactly the driver's problem. It is the garage problem. So, those are the kind of things that we can do as people with disabilities, even if it's a small little thing. But if there's someone that you hear about that is able-bodied and is going to promote all these things for the disabled, that we're there with them, that they don't do it alone. Because the people need to see us, the people need to hear us. So that's really critical. So I just wanted to put that out there, that, let's not leave this in the hands of a politician. Let's not leave this in able-bodied politicians or able-bodied advocates or able-bodied, that we somehow, someone who has a disability, be there. And if you call me or you email me and say, hey, there's going to be this meeting with the mayor, and so-and-so is promoting these needs in the county or the city, but it's just him or it's just her. So could you come and be there and discuss things with them or with her or with him first to see, how it sounds, because there's nobody with disabilities here in these meetings, and we need to hear from the disabled community. So I would say yes, even though it's a challenge for me, especially at nighttime, I will get there, and I will find a way to get home. So we'll see. I just want everybody to know and be alert of someone who's spinning their wheels as an able-bodied person and advocating for the disabled or the disabled community without having us present. That sounds a little fishy, and not exactly fishy. I'm sure they intend to do well, but they have to have us there. They need to have the deaf there. They need to have those of us in wheelchairs. They need to have those who are blind. They need to have those of us who, whatever it might be. But we need to be there in some fashion. So I want to keep you, going on these thoughts, that if you hear something in your city, in your community, that somebody is running around advocating for something in the city, like more apartments or handicap parking spots, or, but nobody from the disabled community is there, then somebody jump in or email the mayor or email the governor and say, hey, I don't know who this person is. I don't know how this person got started. Where are we going with this? So I just want to throw those thoughts out there for us to be vigilant and to jump in and participate or to show up, you know, because it could be a little precarious if we're not involved. So I just want to put that out there and put your thoughts down, and let's make sure that we're a little bit more vigilant than we usually are. I know we have less strength and less energy, and we're usually tangled up with our things, with our stuff. But let's make sure that people hear from the disabled community. If someone wants to be an advocate, fine, but do it with us and not push us aside. I'm in to thank those who have subscribed, who are active on the channel. That always helps. It's just not subscriptions, but also commenting and liking and sharing your thoughts, really, because that's what this channel is all about. So thank you again for coming around, for subscribing. We're pretty close to the 200, so let's see if we can get there. The help comes from you.